Hello, professional wrestling fans, and welcome to this very first edition of the Nelson Analysis. This week, we're going to be talking about wrestling, the state of wrestling, and how wrestling has lost its edge. This came to me last week as we were looking at WWE Raw with Shaq, TNA Impact's 200th episode, an amazing match between John Morrison on not only Superstars with Tyson Kidd, but on SmackDown with Jeff Hardy. And I realized something. You know, there was a lot of buzz about the wrestling content this week, a lot of buzz about John Morrison this week. And it got me thinking, where's the edge in professional wrestling? I don't mean edge, but where's the edge in professional wrestling? You look back at 1997, 1998, 99, 2000, and 2001, there was an edge. There was something new. There was something exciting. There were things that literally shocked you. There were surprises. There were so many more things to keep you engaged in the product than there are now. Now it's the same recycled stuff over and over again from World Wrestling Entertainment, aside from the CM Punks of the world, the John Morrisons of the world, and some would say the Jeff Hardys of the world, I guess. And you look at comparing the shows, if you look at all the television product given to us last week from professional wrestling, nothing really happened. And you couldn't say that back in the glory days, the latest glory days of professional wrestling. You take a look at some of the clips at pwrshow.com in the video section and just look at not what's happening in those clips, but look at how rabid the fans are. The fans cared. The fans were into it. The fans wanted to be a part of it. The fans were emotionally attached. They are no longer emotionally attached to most everything they're seeing in wrestling. Let's take a comparison last week. TNA Impact to WWE SmackDown. I think that's somewhat of a fair comparison. You had in the main event, you had Bobby Lashley and Mick Foley teaming up going against Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash. You know, it delivered on Impact. I thought it was a decent match. I thought it came off well with the Sting thing, with Lashley coming out later with the pre-match attack. I thought it delivered what it needed to do, but at the same time over on SmackDown, look at that ending. Look at that match between John Morrison and Jeff Hardy, and not just look at how great the match was, but look at how well it was presented and how good it was delivered, especially the post-match antics with CM Punk. Man, it was almost perfectly delivered. Now, is it edgy? No. Is it surprising? No. But is it a good storyline progression? Yes. We've talked about last week on both PWR Primetime and Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. We talked about the edge that wrestling needs. We talked about the TNA situation, the big controversy in TNA right now. And I think TNA needs to take this opportunity. They need to take this opportunity to relaunch the brand. There's no huge gaping hole in it right now, but they can take this opportunity, much like WWE did in 1997. Remember when Vince McMahon got on TV and said, we're not going to insult you with good guy versus bad guy. We're going to give you entertainment because that's what we are. We're going to give you entertainment. And they relaunched their product. The Attitude Era followed shortly thereafter. They relaunched their product and saw the most successful years that they have ever seen. TNA has that opportunity now, given this controversy, this situation. There is a huge shakeup, folks, at TNA Wrestling. TNA is the most primed organization able to give us that edge, able to give us those shocking moments, able to utilize that TV-14 rating and give us shock, give us edge. WWE will not do it. They will not do it, but they have pioneered it along with the old ECW. They pioneered it. I want you all to think back. I want you all to think back and paste your comments here as to what the latest, most shocking moment was in wrestling. Really, there hasn't been much. The latest, edgiest moment, the most shocking moment, the thing that said, wow, this has me excited. Wow, this has me going. And the last thing I could think about, really, was No Way Out 2009 here, where you saw all the titles change hand and WWE really relaunched their core scoring forward on pay-per-view. So that's the analysis of the business right now, what's going on in the business, and your comments are very important. And as this is being presented on Monday, August 3rd, 2009 for this week, we'll be back again next Monday with another editorial. Make sure you check out our interview with Ken Anderson formerly Ken Kennedy of WWE, tonight on the ESPN radio program on 540 ESPN, which can be streamed live at pwrshow.com. You can email us your questions for Ken, or you can even call the show live at 1-800-990-ESPN. Again, that's 1-800-990-ESPN. What will Ken Anderson have to say about his release from WWE? Puts all that to rest tonight on the Pro Wrestling Report in his first interview at pwrshow.com and on 540 ESPN Radio. So, thank you for tuning in to this first edition of Nelson Analysis, the Damian Nelson Analysis. We'll be back next Monday with yet another state of affairs in the professional wrestling business.